Hello. And hello, everyone. I am Dr. Alicia Watkins. I am a therapist, professor, and someone deeply committed to helping people understand what it takes to actually heal. And today's conversation is one I really do believe many people really need. And don't realize that they need because I do know in my private practice, a lot of people are doing the work. They're reading, they're reflecting, they are just doing the internal work, and sometimes they still feel stuck. And one of the reasons that I found is that healing and wellness cannot happen just in isolation. And so, as a therapist, in the clinical perspective, I really think that we need to feel safe. We need to be attuned in the relationships that are important to us in order to process and release a lot of our emotional experiences. So today we are exploring what it means to heal in community. And the title is, we had to talk about this, healing in community. And I am really honored to have this conversation with someone who I think brings a lot of depth and lived insight into this experience. I'm joined by Maleeka Alease. Maleeka is someone who understands all of this. And Maleeka, go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody.
Okay, I am Maleeka Alease, an author, a speaker, and a self-reflection coach slash facilitator. My company is Invoke Productions, where I've created Let Me Heal You Something, which is an intentional space that is rooted in hope, edification, and love. And the underlying is just you taking a moment to pause, reflect, and to do that inner work, that inner healing that we so often don't have a chance to do it because we're either masking it or we're hiding behind certain different things. So I create and curate an intentional space for us to just kind of let down that mask, to pause and to look within. I think healing is important. My motto is always transparency bridges the gap. And what I mean by that, if we learn how to be transparent with one another, we don't know that our healing that we went through can also help someone else heal if we just take that moment to curate these spaces, to take a moment just to pause, to look within and do that inner work.
Oh my gosh, there were two things you just said that stuck out with me, Maleeka. I'm so happy that you're here
Yeah.
because you said, "Let me heal you something."
Yes.
Instead of like, that is such a cool tagline, "Let me
Thank
heal you
you.
something." Uh-huh.
Yes. Yes. Let Me Heal You Something was given to me in 2023. It was like downloaded in my spirit. So I only can give the credit to God because I'm still navigating and working this out. So I'm like, Lord, if this is you, back this up with your word. And so he backed it up with his word. And I'm just being obedient and walking this through. So let me heal you something. Because so oftentimes we're on the phone, we're like, let me tell you something. Let me tell you what's going on. So let me heal you something, which is rooted in hope, edification, and love. So everything that you speak, everything that you have to tell someone should be coming from a place of hope, from a place of edification, and from a place of love. That is, let me heal you something.
Gosh, and you
Yeah.
know, you're the second piece that you spoke about was this issue of transparency.
Yes.
It is so important. And how and I think this is why so many people try to heal in isolation, because it's
Yeah.
so difficult to be transparent with other people when you're not
Yes.
even transparent with yourself.
Myself. Yep. Yeah. And
how,
I love
how,
that.
how do we do
Mhm.
this? Why do you think so many people try to heal in isolation and stop right there?
I think because a lot of us is behind a mask, if we are to be honest, a lot of us carry an armor, right? And that armor and that mask is not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes it's just a protector, it's like a barrier. But then you get to a point where you're like how long am I going to carry this armor? How long am I going to wear this mask before I get lost, right? I get lost into not even knowing who I am because I've carried it for so long. And just like you with your profession, a lot of people are seeking therapy, but then there's a lot of people who are apprehension of that therapy. And that's where I felt like my sessions came in, not taking from the therapeutical thing,
Mhm.
because I believe in therapy. I believe that is important, but I also believe that sometimes you have to be your own therapist because if you're not there, how can we still do that work, you know? And
Oh
that's
my
when I created that session where it's kind of like, if we could like release that barrier, release that armor, release that mask, and I can share what I'm experiencing, that may give you the confidence to be able to share yours. And then how do you do that? You don't do it so, I wouldn't say so therapeutic, no, right? I'm saying more so like on the level of, hey, this is everyday life. And so with my sessions, I create more of activities where I'm not here to lecture you. I'm not here to speak to you. I'm here for you to do that, your own work, right? Because so often we don't take a moment just to sit there and sit with ourselves and do that work. We like to listen, we like to be sponges, we like for everyone else to speak. But when it's on you to do the work, you have to really reflect. And I think that is where we are lacking right now.
Oh my gosh. I mean, just carrying that armor is, you're right. It realistically, that is something that we all have to do in this
We
here
do.
world. You can't
Yes.
always tell everybody everything
Yes.
100% because that doesn't work either. But
Yes.
this is what I love about this, carving out time for yourself to put
Mhm.
the mask down
Yes.
and and really being honest and sharing everything. And I love the fact that you're giving people, by the way, a therapeutic experience, which
Yes.
is different from therapy. Therapy is different from delivering somebody a therapeutic experience. And I just want to say hello to everybody in, who's showing up. I see everybody, Church Girl, Ebony, I see everybody in here. And
I,
I'm just curious about what people think. Like, are y'all, everybody who's watching, are y'all carving out time for yourself
yeah.
to put your mask down and to
Yes.
be able to connect with yourself? And if so, how are you doing that? And
Right.
I think like carving out that time, people, we're so socialized,
Yeah.
especially women, to just
Yes.
give our times to everyone else. We're putting everybody's needs ahead
Yes.
of our own. And, sometimes people feel guilty.
Yep.
They feel guilty by saying no to somebody and saying, I have to prioritize myself here.
Yes. Yes. And it's so interesting that you said that. That I just did a session in Oakland, California a week ago, and it was with women of excellence. And what something was touching to me afterwards was it was a therapist there, and she shared her testimonial that one, it was hard for her to ever cry, so she cried. And I mean, that was really big for me because she was just like, her sitting on the other side of what she does really touched her because she's always on the other end, right? Bringing out the answers with everyone else, not being able to even really drop her mask herself. So for her to be on the other end of that, she said it was really impactful. And that meant a lot because, in your profession, you carry a lot, you do a lot. So for that to have an impact on a therapist, I'm like, okay, there's something here, But then also a lot of women were saying that they didn't have a moment to realize that they were masking a lot, between being something that someone wanted them, like what people see them on the outside versus what they're going through on the inside. So we did a mask exercise with me leading that. Like, what does people see you as on the outside? What do you even portray yourself on the outside? But what are you really dealing with it in the inside? And just to see the impact with that session or that specific activity, you realize that a lot of people are wearing this mask and them themselves don't even realize that, oh, wow, I'm carrying a mask. And like you said, in everyday society, I'm not saying walk around vulnerable. There is boundaries and there is ways to give people access. But if we learn to be intentional about like, hey, I have to do this because it's not only for me, it's for the next person, the next generation. That's where we are right now. That's what the mission is.
Yeah, and it's interesting, just that word, women of excellence. Like, that's
Yeah.
heavy. What
Yes.
is that?
Yeah.
Excellence means you can't get it wrong. Excellence
Right.
to me sounds like you have to be perfect. That's a
Yes.
big weight to carry. And maybe we need to start changing our definition of what excellence and perfection means,
Wow.
because you
Yeah.
don't have to be perfect
Yes.
because you already are, even
Yes.
though we all are not perfect. So the
Yes.
imperfection is
Yes.
what's excellent.
Yes.
And it's so hard because we live in the world. I think we live in the world that's really hard on women,
Yep.
especially tough on Black women.
Yes.
And just because you make a mistake, you're not a mistake, but people make mistakes all the time. And it's the messages, and the dialogue and the things that you tell yourself if you do make a mistake, considering all of those messages that we're receiving from other people.
Exactly. Hmm.
Comment on that.
So a lot of feedback was from that as well, just the weight that we carry as women, as Black women,
Mhm.
and how when we do want to be vulnerable and let that down, it's like you get told like, oh no, you're strong, or you have to be the strong one because so many people have put you in that position. It's heavy, but we're here, you and I, to bring that solution because I think that is where the gap has to be bridged, where a lot of people need the solution. What is the solution to that? And it's just like laying down, like you said, those unrealistic expectations that sometimes others put on us, but that we put on ourselves because we have carried what we deem to be excellent or what we have to do. And something, if you really create a space or even talk to the people that you feel like you have to be this certain person with, they're kind of like going to probably tell you like, I didn't really expect that from you, you know? So we kind of put those expectations on ourselves and we don't know how to relinquish them because if we were to be honest,
Mm.
those are what we find our identity in. Right. So it's like, who are you? I always tell people, I ask the question simply, like, who are you? And if you notice, people cannot tell you who they are outside of what they do, what they have. You know, they can't, they don't know how to answer that question outside of the material possessions or the educational. And nothing's wrong with that, but that's not solely who you are, because if that is ripped away, who are you? And that's where you have to take a moment to pause and do that inner work and that self-reflection.
I mean, even in that self-reflection, it's just like, okay, who are you really is all of the things that you value,
Yes.
the things that are important to you. And you know, when somebody asks me who am I, I'm like, I am honest, I
Yeah.
am transparent, I am caring,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
am authentic. And living a life that's authentic, it's what's so important also, and with no shame, because that
Yes.
mask, yeah, all of us wear different masks. Because
Hmm.
listen, I'm a
Yes.
mom. So
We're
when I'm with
guilty
my
of it.
children, I'm wearing my mom mask. You
Right.
know, when I'm at work, I teach at a university, I'm wearing my professor mask. The importance is that all of those masks that I represent has to be reflective of the values that mean
Who
a
you
lot
are.
to me. And that's
Yes.
where mental health becomes an issue because you're living a mask that's not reflective of who and what you are.
Mm.
And that is important. Who are you is one of those questions that we don't carve out time enough to even try to think about all of the
Yes.
things that are important to us. Yeah, we're accomplishing all these different goals and we're accomplishing things of excellence, but it's
Yes.
who you are has to be reflective of that so that you can feel good at the end of the day.
I agree.
Oh
I
my gosh. You guys, hello everybody.
yes.
Welcome. I am
Welcome in.
Dr. Alicia, and I'm here with my wonderful guest. I just love her. I love you, by the way.
Thank
I love your
you.
social media. I
Thank
wouldn't even ever
you.
ask you to come on here if I hadn't been
It
like,
means an honor,
I got an
Dr.
online
Alicia.
crush. I got an online crush on you.
No, it means an honor. When I like when you said it, I was like, what? Not
Yeah.
Dr. Alicia, you know, like that is big. So I'm grateful. I am really grateful and I'm honored. I know people say that, but truly I am because this is pushing me out of my own comfort. And even what you just said with the community, like in wanting to heal in isolation, I am guilty of that, you know, and that's why I'm pushing this. Like I can't sit here like I'm not innocent. And the reason why I do is like, I think that has been a mechanism with me, just kind of like, let me work on myself. Because if I am to be honest, I pour into a lot of people. And so, like, I want to be strong in a sense, but I'm learning how to heal within, like, heal with community, heal with us sharing these things. So, I truly appreciate you with this because, again, like, this was a surprise to me. So I love this. I was like, what? She is spot on. You're so aligned. And
Mhm.
I'm grateful to be able to even join you in this live because I just want to be aligned. I don't want to just sit and speak on everything because everything does not even deserve, you know, an opinion. But this
Yeah.
is so important because we do tend to isolate while we are healing. And I myself is guilty. And that's why, again, I'm so passionate about curating these sessions because I'm like, I was on that other side and I'm trying to say, hey, I'm not telling you to do as I say and not as I do because I'm doing the work. I am doing the work as I'm presenting the work. So you can definitely get that from me if you're following me, if if hello, I'm Maleeka, if you just, now meeting me, like I'm not saying heal, heal, heal without me doing the healing. I am doing that myself.
Oh, this is so
Yes.
great. And y'all follow her on Instagram. What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is at Maleeka Alease, where my name is there. And once you're in that link, you can have another Instagram to Invoke Productions, where I curate self reflection journals, books, just different tools to help you to continue navigating this journey through healing.
Man, we all need tools. We definitely
Yes.
need tools. And you were talking about the title of what we're talking about is healing and community. And
Yes.
this is not just something that we are thinking about. Also, I have a retreat coming up talking about
Yes, she
healing in
does.
communities. Everybody go to Escape with Dr. Alicia. Y'all sign up for this retreat because
Yes.
this is based on science. Healing, Escape with Dr. Alicia. Let me put the comment in the chat.
Yes.
Escape. The link is here in the chat. Escapewithdralicia.com. Go there and come to my retreat. It's in December, so you got all year to prepare for this. And I want to talk a little bit about some of the research. So,
well, 9 months.
You got 9 months to
9 months.
deliver this baby, your baby, to deliver your baby. And I think like science tells us we are wired for connection.
Yes.
The brain is a social organ. And it's one of the values. I'm a social worker, and one of the values of social work profession is about we believe in the dignity of human relationships. We regulate ourselves, our safety, processing things emotionally is all done through connection. Our brains are literally not designed to have wellness and healing alone. They're designed to heal in relationships. So if you want to isolate yourself, there's no growth.
Yeah.
And I think the wonderful part of it is that even if you've had past painful memories that have been scary, even that can't be done alone, because so much of it, why it stays in the body so much, is because you didn't have anybody to talk to about it. Healing requires that you have a witness. And we talk about this a lot in therapy, in the therapeutic world, is that you have to have a witness. If trauma impacts us in relationships, healing has to also require a new relational experience, not just insight into what's going on. And so we know about all of this. Comment on how you use community to bring about this shared experience where everybody starts to feel better.
Yeah. Okay, so with the curated sessions that started with traveling. So I am so for your retreat, for traveling, because I think it's so important, because traveling brings about just a sense of release, right? Because you're not in your everyday activity, the new space, the new surroundings, the new all of that brings such a beautiful space to curate what you're trying to do and what I started. So my session started with me partnering with a brand called World Citizens, and she launched her group travel in 2023. And that's where I launched Let Me Heal You Something. And we were like, what could we do to do something different from all the group travels that's going on? And we're like, okay, let's attach this unpack before the unpacking. And where I created this session, because during the traveling experience, you experience so many different emotions, so many different questions, so many different insights. And it just gives you a moment, if you're a solo traveler, or even if you're traveling with like your homegirl, you really can't articulate what it is that you're feeling. So that's where I came in and curated a session based on unpacking everything that you just experienced before going home. And in that session, the ladies were, I, so the sessions are curated based on what your needs are. So all of the sessions that I do, they're not the same. They're really based on what your theme is or what the need of your people or your audience. So in this specific travel realm, that was just based on unpacking everything that these women have just experienced, but they didn't even realize what was going on inside of them, and how this travel and experience brought out all these different emotions, different things that they've suppressed. And that release, when other women begin to talk, so it starts with sparking one flame, and then it just it's a counter reaction to everything, and allow the women to really release the things that they didn't even know that was stored up in them or that they were bottling up. So each experience has been different. I can't tell you that they've all been the same. What I can tell you across the board that has been the same was an awakening that happened with them. That, wow, I didn't know that I was dealing with this, or, oh, wow, I didn't know that I can feel a release or feel like I have directions. Those are all the impacts that I've had, or the insights that I had with after them experiencing the sessions. I across the board, I heard every woman say, like, I didn't know that I didn't take a moment for myself as much as I thought I did, or I didn't know that that was going on within myself. So my mission was just to curate these sessions where we can just have an intimate setting, no matter what that looks like for you, sitting down, placing these activities that allows you, you can escape with reflecting and pausing. So how I curate this is like, you can't get away from this. You have to take that moment to pause. And that is what's intentional about it. Like, you can't escape you. You know, you can escape you in the world and through work and through different things and doing all that. But now this is a moment slowly about you. Sometimes we want to say in this society, like, oh, I'm gonna be selfish, I'm gonna make it about me. But really we don't. That's just a defense mechanism, because we still want to escape from ourselves. But in this intentional space, you have no choice but to face you. And it's a beautiful thing. And it's an awakening thing. And I think that's what's more impactful, because a lot of people didn't realize how much they were carrying and how much they were bearing as well.
So
Yeah.
it's a surprising experience. It's like
Yes.
you saying I'm curating an experience, and
Yes.
they think they know what's going on, but when they actually get there,
Yeah.
they're like, oh my God, I had no idea. What shifts are you noticing in someone once they have this awakening experience just by reflecting?
Um, shifts.
Shifts.
Okay. More so like when I see it, because like sometimes I'm in it with them, you know, it's not until afterwards, and it's just like what I see is almost this light that goes off,
Yeah.
like, in this weight that is released. Because when I feel like when you cry, it's like releasing something. And so I'm always getting women crying, and not because we're emotional or any of that. It's when I see the cries, it's like a relief. So the shifts that I see is relief. I see, I want more. Like, how can I continue this? Is a hunger now. And it's insightful. It's like those answers have been, or those questions have been answered. And so now they need to know how they can navigate through what they have just discovered within themselves.
So
Yeah.
for a lot of them, there's a lightness, because
Yes.
crying is really a purging.
That's what I feel. You know, call me crybaby, because I'm crying.
Crying is a purging. It's necessary.
It's necessary.
I mean, biologically, it just gets rid of all the stress. It just gets rid of it. And there's a lighter feeling that happens. It's
Yes.
almost like you just released all of the things that you didn't even know you were holding on to.
Yes.
And it's surprising. And they say, this feels good. I'm going to do this again.
Dr. Alicia, that's what it is. They do say, it's like you see a light bulb coming off on them. And the reason why I pause before answering that, because
Yeah.
I think I'm reflecting back on what I see with the women. And what I see with them is that they can't even quite articulate what they just experienced or what's happening. So I myself can't really put into words, but what I would say, the shifts are that enlightenment, that light bulb, that awe, like, oh my gosh, you know. And it's never shame. It's like a relief, like, I'm not alone. That's what I get too. That's a shift, like, wow, I'm not alone. Or say if you didn't, you know, some of these sessions that I've curated, some of these women don't know each other. The last week one that I did, they were just women amongst their community, in the church community. And even with them, that was impactful. One of the ladies said, we have not been this raw with one another, you know, and I've been going here for umpteen years, and I didn't know this or I didn't know that, you know. So that's another thing. I think that bridges the gap as well, of trusting a little bit more and being able to lean on that person a little bit more, and not feel like, again, you have to wear that mask.
Oh, that is so wonderful. Everybody, how you doing?
Yeah.
Let me know. Let me know. There's
Yeah.
people here listening in. I see you guys. How about you all? Let me know, anybody in the chat, one way in which you are taking out time for yourself to
Yes.
have these moments
Right.
where things shift. I know I think it's really interesting. Another thing you spoke about was that it's a relief and people want more, but there's
Yes.
also an opportunity for it to integrate everything. It's
Yes.
like when you start, because, asking, who are you? Who are
Who
you?
are
When you
you?
start answering those questions, you now have the responsibility of incorporating yourself into infusing it into your relationships, letting your entire world be reflective of who
Yes.
and what you are. And to
Yeah.
do that, it's going to take setting new boundaries, shifting
Yeah.
your perspective. And it also could mean developing new relationships that's more reflective of who you are on the inside, and possibly letting go of some of the relationships that doesn't demonstrate who and what you are.
Yeah.
So people
Yes.
don't know, it's sometimes taking out the time to connect with who and what you are. There's a grieving process because you're going to have
Yes.
to let go of the old you,
Yes.
because
I
thinking
love
about
Dr.
who and what you
Alicia.
are means you're going to have to shed the things that are attached to you that's no longer aligned.
That's good. Ah, that's so good. That's helping me. Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
so true. And it's a process and it's not easy. We're not on here this live saying like, oh my gosh, this is an overnight thing. This is not, that's why I tell people it's not a destination. This is a journey, because you can feel like you're healed in one season and another season, something else is coming up. It's like pulling back the layers. And thank you for that, because that's a reminder for me, even with us in this doing the work. Sometimes we need to be poured into and doing the reminders, and it's challenging. We want to stick to like what we know, what is comfortable, but that, again, speaking about that last session, it was about alignment. And sometimes like you have to be aligned, because when you're out of alignment, the struggle is more. That's how you can tell when you're out of alignment with something, or that it no longer serves you, is when you have to struggle, when it feels uneasy, it's not a flow, or it's not, and that's what makes you say, okay, where in my life am where am I unaligned, like what has me out of alignment. So thank you for even just sharing that, because it's true.
Yeah. And I really do think that when you in your work are curating this space, that is what you're doing for people.
Yeah.
That is what you're
Thank
doing for
you.
people. You are having them begin a new course. And I mean, that is, and you get to decide how you want your world to be, all of us, because somehow whatever we're living right in this moment was curated by something.
Yeah.
So I like that word curate. I'm gonna start using
Yeah.
that word. We're gonna
Yes.
curate
Right.
and
Because you curate your own sessions too, and you don't even know that you're doing that, but
yeah,
you are. But
yeah.
you are.
And,
Mhm.
and and I feel like what happens is that there's so many people who put things on us. And we just say, okay, and we don't
Yeah.
even stop to think about, is this something that I really
I
want
really
put on
want.
me?
Yes.
And then is it really reflective of something that's important to me? Like so many times we just say yes, yes, yes to things, and we haven't even really decided if it makes sense, if it's
Right.
aligned with what I want to do and what I want in my life. Are the people around you, validating towards you? I just find that so many people are in environments that invalidate them.
Yeah.
And they feel like, okay, I have to be someone else. Or I have to be and agree to certain things that I know damn well that is not what I want
Yeah.
to do. It is
Yeah.
not reflective of me. And that's sad. That's mental health issues.
So what would you say, Dr. Alicia, like how can, if a person is in that
Yes.
situation or doing that, like how can they identify that they're in that? And what is like one, I wouldn't necessarily say, I don't want to say easy step, but what is
Yeah.
one thing that they could do to create another boundary to come out of that?
It's going to take courage,
Okay.
because if you are abandoning yourself by putting other people's needs and wants ahead of you, um, it takes a lot of courage to be able to say no.
Okay.
It takes a lot of faith and understanding that if you make that shift
Yeah.
and aligning yourself with things that are important to you, you have to be willing and courageous enough to see it out to the end. Because I guarantee you, on the other side of authenticity
Yeah.
is the joy, the contentment,
Yes.
is the sound mental health. Because I really do believe that people have mental health issues because they're not following and doing some of the things that they know they need to do. They're listening to lies that people may have said
Yes.
to them that make them feel sad and angry and even depressed for some people.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
and it's saying, okay, those were lies. I'm going to now consciously tell myself, even though I don't feel like doing this, I know that this is aligned with what I want to do and make those steps toward it. It takes a lot of courage. Most people never do it. Most
Wow.
people never learn the lesson.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important for all of us, even I as a therapist, carve out time for myself for my own healing work, my own
Okay.
reflection. I have to be able to do that several
Yeah.
times a year, which is why I want to offer that to other people. This is your time to put yourself first. Yeah, we know that who knows what's going to happen in the world and
Yes.
politics and
Yes.
government and whatever. They're going to do what they do because there's
Yeah.
not much you can do to control that. But what you
Yes.
can do is to say, okay, even though all of this is going on, you know, there's a energy there. I still
Yes.
have to take out time for myself
Yes. Or how
because
do you
people
stay
gonna be what they're
grounded?
gonna be.
Yeah. No, it's so true. How do you stay grounded in the midst of everything going on around you? You
I
know?
mean, think about it. I mean, we would be tone deaf not to comment on the fact that it's a very real political turmoil, you know,
Yeah.
instability. We would be tone deaf not to say that and to
Yes.
just say, curate your own safety for your own
Yeah.
self. And let this out. Like it's making that connection. So we do have to kind of acknowledge, yeah, things are
Absolutely.
uncertain, but
Yes.
we need to also think about what can you control and what can you not control.
Exactly.
I've been
Yes, I
saying this
agree.
for some time. I know I'm talking for a long time. I've been saying this
No,
for some
go.
time. I really do believe that all of us, all around the world, since COVID, we have all been traumatized.
Hmm.
Since COVID started, since 2020, from 2020 to 2026, right now, this day, March 26th,
Yes. Oh, wow.
2026, we have
Yes.
all had a collective trauma.
Right.
We have grieved. We have been surprised. We have had the world has just shifted in a way, I think, towards some ugliness, but there's been too much happening. And I really think that if all of us were to just, you know, just there's an energy here in this. Maybe
Yes.
there is in the long run, maybe we're going to come. I do believe that we're going to come out of this better, but we have to comment on that. Do you have anything to say, Maleeka, about what I'm
You
saying?
know, honestly, I'm not gonna kid you. Like this morning, I was just like, I'm not aloof to what is happening, but I thank God for his protection.
Uh-huh.
And what I mean by that is like you don't have to be a believer or spiritual, but I just thank
Yeah.
God that I am not governed by so much that's going on that it raises the anxiety of this world. Like I kind of actually like that I am not like I'm aware but not aware. It's like this sense of covering where what I need to be deposited in me or downloaded in me will come. But like you
Mhm.
said, yeah, we're not sitting here saying healing community curate that we know where we know what's going on in the world. We are realistic women and we get that. But every battle is not ours. It's not. Everything does not deserve an opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like what's going to happen is going to happen. Wherever you can make that change, make that change. That's where I am. So I don't take on the weight of the world. You know what I'm saying? I can't do that for my own mental sanity. So I'm grateful because I'd be like, wait, that is happening. Like I was traveling for work, no kidding you.
Uh-huh.
And I was going to a meeting and I was traveling for work and I was in the middle of the riot with like the Iran and people saying like I don't know. I'm gonna send you the video so you can upload the
Okay.
clip to when I say this because I was like, oh my gosh, like what's going on? And then it's almost like you're afraid to be American. Like these are my real life experiences right
Mhm.
now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
don't open your mouth or duck off with your baseball cap on or stuff. Like this is what's happening. So I am not um disengaged by what's going on or delusional about what's going on in the world, but I'm just thankful that I'm anchored
Mhm.
where I'm not taking on again, all that is what's going on, and where I can have a solution, that's where I'm at. And I don't care what anyone say. For me, prayer moves mountains, prayer changes things, and that's where
Mhm.
I'm at. I'm in my praying bag. I'm not just saying that.
Mhm.
I am
Uh-huh.
doing that. And so that's what, I take from it. And I'm with you. I'm always hopeful. Like, sometimes these are tactics to put fear in us, and fear drives us to do crazy things, and I don't want to be a fearful person, because where fear is, that's where you start making wrong decisions and you're be moving irrational. And I just want to be sound in everything that I do, and by doing that, it's just maybe helping people around us, do that or have that. And like I said, not being unrealistic of what's going on in the world, but just remaining hopeful, because knowing that some of these things are their tactics, like, seriously.
And I
So,
mean, when things are uncertain, that's when you need to double down on your groundedness.
yes. Oh my
That is what it
gosh.
needs. And it's challenging all of us. This
Yes.
experience is challenging all of us.
Yes.
Double down on our
And it brings
groundedness.
out different triggers what people say, but it's
Yep.
true. Like, one of my biggest thing is, like, I don't like to be uncertain. I'm going to be very honest here, but
Yep.
I am learning through my own healing that, like, uncertainty is a part of life. You know
Yep.
what I'm saying? And that also, not wanting to be uncertain, stems from a control thing, and you want to
Yep.
control your world around you. And so I'm learning to navigate through that, and that's what I'm saying, what you said, coming back and being grounded. And so that's why I said I'm thankful, because it's a sense of protection around me. Because I'm
It
sometimes I'm
does.
like, oh, why am I not freaking out? But I mean, I just filled up my gas tank and it was $20 more than I usually pay. So, but I'm just like, you're able to do it,
Yeah.
right? You're able to do it. And just not getting into the rabbit hole of the complaining and all of that. So it's so easy to do, because a lot of people are doing that. And sometimes, and I would tell you all who are listening, step
Mhm.
away from conversations does not feed you, or that really trigger things off that you're trying to heal from. And what I mean by that is, like, don't spiral with it. Sometimes you can't give those conversations access to you. You can't even be around those people. And that is a betterment of your health. That's not being not empathetic or not in tune about what's going on. But sometimes you have to step back for your own sanity. And that's okay. I would say that, because I don't engage in certain conversations. And
Mhm.
it's not because I'm afraid of it or I don't want to have anything. It's just, is this helping me? Is this, you
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Like, what's the solution? We can sit here and complain all day. And that's what you notice about a lot of people, even on these different platforms and podcasts. A lot of people speak about what is happening, but no one is giving solution. And that's where I'm at. Like, I am about, like, what is the solution? What could we do? And even if it's not in its entirety, but the first step to it.
Yeah, because we can deconstruct the issues, but we have to construct it with something at the end
With
of it.
something.
And if not,
Yes.
then you're left feeling disempowered.
Yeah.
And that's not a good feel. What is that going to do? That's not a good feeling. And so that's a great comment. And also, when you behave out of fear, you make
Yeah.
unwise choices. You make bad
Yes.
choices when you behave out of fear,
Yes.
and you make choices that is different from what's important to you. You
Yes.
make unaligned choices. And if
Yes.
you start to behave out of love, because there's only a choice. You can act out of love or you can act out of fear. If you act out of
Absolutely.
love, you make wise choices.
Yes. And there's
And
a
let the chips
covering.
fall where they may.
Yes.
Do not,
Hmm.
I care nothing about the results. What I care about is making sure that I'm living authentically
Yes.
with
And you see a
integrity.
move of that right now. I feel like you're
Yes.
seeing a move of that, of people coming back to their authentic selves. And
Yes.
that's not, I see a move, but I'm just hoping that it's from a sincerity. And you'll know when a person is authentic, but I hope that everybody returns to their most authentic self, because you're seeing a wave of that. But are you
Yes.
doing it because it's a trend? Are you really doing it because you know that it's needed, and you know that that is a part of your healing? Like, that is where it begins. And so, like
You
you
can
said,
feel it.
you can feel it.
You
Yes,
can
you
feel
can. You
it.
can. You're so right, Dr. You cannot fake that.
Can't fake it.
You cannot fake that, because your aura and your energy speaks before you even do. And
It
that's where I
does.
feel like people fail at, or why people will be threatened by other people, because our aura and our energy, the spirit that we house, it speaks before we even do. And that's where a lot of people are missing. But it's like, hey, if you do the work and if you lay that out, you too can have this light and this glow that sometimes we don't even see on ourselves. But that's what a lot of people are threatened by. But it's just like, I'm no different than you. The only thing that separates me is that I'm really being who I say that I am. And I'm really trying to do this work. And I'm really struggling on day to day, or I'm really happy. And that's okay too. Because if you look at it, it's like some of the things that we're stressing out, you have to ask yourself, like, does this matter? Like, does this really matter?
And can I do anything to change it anyway?
Yeah. And it's not always easy, you all. It's not easy. That's not what we're saying. But if you really take that moment to pause and just be like, ah, it doesn't matter anyways, And yeah, so that's
Oh
why I
my
love Mel
gosh.
Robbins. The let them that let
Mhm.
them
Oh,
theory with her. When I got introduced to that, I was like, I find myself to say, oh, let them, let them. So figure that
oh
out.
my
Yeah.
gosh. Okay. All right. So let's listen. Hey everybody, how y'all doing?
Hey.
We're talking about we had to talk about this, y'all. Healing in
Yes.
community. I got a new friend, Maleeka, and y'all follow her on Instagram, Maleeka Alease. That's her name down at the bottom.
Yes.
And we're sitting here talking about healing in community, how you have to figure out yourself, be your authentic self. Maleeka is cultivating experiences, and it's an awakening process that I'm hearing you do, where you're able to reflect. Listen, sometimes we need to cry. We have to take out
Yes.
time to do that. And she says, "Let me heal you something," and that's
Let
what
me
she
hear you
does.
something. Yes.
I
Yes.
think that is like so
Thank you,
wonderful.
Dr. Alicia.
Um,
Appreciate that.
as we wrap up today, last parting words for everybody, and let everybody know where they can find you.
Okay, so as below, Maleeka Alease on Instagram. Once you're on that that's my personal Instagram account. However, in the link, you'll find Invoke Productions. That's NVOKE Productions. That's where you can be a part of the curated sessions. If you want to house your own curated sessions, this is for individuals, for groups, for travel groups, whatever. I am here to curate an intentional session that is rooted in hope, edification, and love. The
Mm.
link is in the bio. I also have my latest creation, what is the Let Me Heal You Something journal. I have it actually here. This is not your average journal. This journal is very intentionally made. This journal has questions and prompts and stuff inside of there. I would want a sneak peek, but I want you to go and do your own self work. And this is not a marketing thing. Journaling has healed me. Journaling has been therapeutic to me. So I believe in journaling, and I just wanted to create something for you to have for yourself. Everything that Invoke Productions create is based off of healing, it's based off of a tool to help you to advance to your next self. And most importantly, as Dr. Alicia spoke about, it's being authentic. Everything that I am created is from a raw experience, my own experience, because again, my motto is transparency bridges the gap. If we learn how to be transparent with one another, we can bridge the gap to healing. That's it, you all. I look forward to speaking with you more, seeing you. I look forward to prayerfully being a part of your retreat, because I know that is needed. I've been in that realm, in that space, and I myself may be launching a retreat myself, but just being a partner to everyone else. Like, if you ask me who is Maleeka Alease, Maleeka Alease is someone's answer. I live my way in a life where I can be the answer that that person may need. And that's who I am outside of all the other things and all the other accolades. That doesn't move me. What moves me is being a help, a service to someone else. And that's just what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I love you mentioned, by the way, everybody can follow me at Coaching with Dr. Alicia on Instagram. I just did a video
Yes.
on how journaling, I read this article about how journaling
Yes.
actually moves it solves your brain, it heals your brain from
Yes.
stress. It moves
Yes.
everything away from the stressful part of your brain to a brain that's reflective and calming and relaxing. Just the act of journaling.
Just the act
So
of journaling.
come
Yes.
on, that's
And it's no
science.
wrong or right way. A lot of people want to say, like, oh my gosh, I don't. That's what I hear often, like, I don't journal. I'm like, listen, if I can tell you, I would love for us to probably do a journaling class just
Yeah.
to explain that it's no right or wrong way. Journaling is simply just to release so we don't keep everything stored here. Journaling has helped me. And then also it's therapeutic because
Mhm.
from years from now, whether it's 6 months to a year, you're like, oh my gosh, was I in that space? Or you can kind of even align and say, wow, I'm still struggling with that. Or wow, I overcame that. That's what I've noticed with me. That's why I'm so pushing journaling. Journaling, it is therapeutic. It's really helpful. It has been a very pivotal thing in my life. Journaling has created what I'm doing right now. I've produced my first book from journaling as well. I
Oh,
put my journal entries into a book and I'm asking you, can you relate? That's a limited edition. So I only probably have a couple more copies, but that was my first release. It was all my journal entries.
oh, you know,
Yeah.
that is so great. And even people who can't journal, sometimes in my practice, people are just like, I just don't journal. Well, I'll just say, okay, just give me a number about how your day went. Give me a number. Just put
Yeah.
it in there,
Put it
something
in
really
there. Yep.
small to start with. And you'll be surprised, like after time, people's mood get better because they had to spend so much time paying attention to it. And I'm keeping them
Yes.
accountable. So even if you're not journaling, it could just be one word. It could be one thing,
Yes.
and you can go back to it and look at it because I'm not much of a. I have to journal. My journaling is sporadic
I'm
because
going
I'm
to send
so
you one. So
busy.
make sure you send me your address and stuff after this. I'm going to send you a copy.
Okay,
So you can just
excellent.
have your own testament with it because I did put prompts in there and just helping because a lot of people don't know what to do. So this journal, like I said, is not your average, it's very interactive. Everything is interactive because it causes you to want to think and answer it, and sometimes that's what we need. We don't really know how we need that prompt. We need
Ah,
that push.
that's excellent. I think all these
Yes.
therapeutic experiences are so very important. And for
Yes.
everybody, here's the website, Escape with Dr. Alicia. Those of you who are listening and you're realizing I've been doing this alone, I have to
Yeah.
do it in community. Please go and join me, the Winter Solstice Wellness Retreat. It's in Costa Rica. It's in December, the Winter Solstice. Hello, in December. Reset your nervous system. I'm using your word. Cultivating a meaningful, safe experience for everybody.
Yes.
So if wellness is something you've been thinking about, something you want to experience, you don't have to come with anybody, but there'll be beautiful people there with you. You have to be willing to take a step into a different kind of space, a wellness
Yes.
space. Beautiful Costa Rica. You can learn more, reserve your spot, Escape with Dr. Alicia. And there's you're not never meant to carry your healing alone, everybody.
Yes.
So I want to
Yes.
thank everybody for joining us
Thank
here.
you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And
Yes.
Maleeka, thank you for this conversation and for all the work that you do. I think it's just
Thank
so
you.
wonderful.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alicia. It's been honestly a blessing and honor just to be on this live with you and just to hear your intake. And so I'm like, I'm a
Girl,
sponge.
yes.
I'm listening. So thank you for having me. And I appreciate everything that you do. And I look forward to being a part of things that you do as well, just to help me with my own journey. I want it, I need it. And yeah, that's what
Thank
I'm.
you. And thank you, everybody who's watching. I will see you all next time. Bye,
Bye.
everybody.